Mistra's likeness. Since I stood before her in a place like this.
Greetings, child of faith. Be welcome to the Stormshore Tabernacle. You have come far, I perceive. How may I serve you this day? Here, clerics may commune with their gods, and even hear their responses, if they are so favored. I am also granted the power to provide holy resurrection through sales of revivification scrolls. I am Vicar Humbletoes, guardian of the Stormshore Tabernacle. I keep the peace in this sacred place and guide those in need. Of course, my child, within limits. Behold my wares.
This altar isn't dedicated to a single god, but instead acts as a conduit to many. Your god is one of many, and in this place you sense a spark of its mighty divine flame. It reads, "Show your devotion with an offering in your god's name. Blessings may follow." Tempers are rising. You see an altar dedicated to Helm the Vigilant. Helm the Watcher is a guardian god, dedicated to the preservation of order. Many turn to him in troubled times. Your knowledge of religion tells you nothing more about the worship of Helm. You see an altar dedicated to Tyr. Tyr, the blind god, offers justice to all, innocent and malefactor alike. The law dictates what is right, be that reward or retribution. Your knowledge of religion isn't extensive enough to tell you more. You see an altar dedicated to Selûne. An inscription reads, "Let all who worship the changing tides of life and knowledge feel the blessings of Selûne. Trust in the purity of my light. See the constancy in its inconstancy, and you will be guided aright." Goddess of the moon and stars. Her words and light have long helped wanderers to find their way. Perhaps it could help you, too.
Selûne. Had life turned out differently, I might have been kneeling in prayer here. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm...
There she stands, just as Elminster promised. Mystra, goddess of the weave, mother of all magic.
The old man wasn't lying. She's opened the summoning channel. Can't you feel it?
feels right. The very air around the statue crackles with magic. It sets your teeth on edge.
A stream of pure, undiluted weave. I only have to reach out, and it will carry me to Mystra, wherever she may be.
An audience with your goddess can go wrong. I should know. But do whatever you feel is best, Gale.
Time was, I'd have given my right arm for a chance to speak with Mystra again. The left one, too. Maybe a knee. Not the message one hopes to receive from a past lover. But her first love was always the weave. At best, I was a close second. When I pictured this moment, I thought I'd feel more in control. Yet, here I am, with palms sweatier than a bugbear's armpit. I always wonder what being nervous would feel like. I hate it. For a wizard, to have the love of the goddess of magic herself, it was intoxicating. An experience beyond expression. During my time locked away in Waterdeep, I prepared a quite comprehensive speech for her on the subject of our former relationship and the manner in which it ended. Alas, recent events have rendered the majority of it moot, so I'm gonna have to improvise. Unless you have any words of wisdom to impart before I go. You'd make a fine three-dragon anti-player, you know? I think it's best I keep a cool head going into this. Approach it like a particularly high-risk round of three-dragon ante. I'll let Mistress show her flight, and then I can see how strong a chance we stand of winning the gambit. I'll only be gone for a matter of moments. The Outer Planes experience time quite differently to our own. Wait for me. Please.
Gale of Waterdeep, you look well.
As do you. But I assume we're not here solely to exchange compliments. So why am I here?
You discovered what lies at the heart of the Absolute, the crown of Karsus. And you disobeyed my instruction. Why?
Because you had no right to ask that of me. You cast me out. Remember?
You were my lover, my chosen. Yet still you know so little of me. The past cannot be undone with self-pity, nor can a future be forged. Only with the truth will you see the way ahead. The fragment of magic you tried to return to me was not of my creation. It was the Karsite weave. It is a corrupted, half-born magic, wrought in the brief moment Karsus ascended to godhood. It hungers for power, just as he did, and it can never be sated. You unleashed something that would consume all magic in existence, and yet you thought only of preserving yourself.
So that's what you're scared of. With the crown of Karsus reforged, I could take control of the Karsite weave.
You can no more control the Karsite weave than a weather vane could control a storm. That it entered your body and consumed no more than your powers was a miracle. But we will not be granted another. The only reason the orb sleeps is because I have allowed it to feed on the true weave. A temporary measure, but one that will not be enough to save us. With each day that passes, the Elder Brain threatens to become a new kind of god. Its worshippers, a scourge of soulless illithids. If you will not use the orb to end this abomination, then you must find a way to separate crown and host. When you've done this, you must surrender the crown of Karsus to me.
A great ask indeed. You've given me much to think on, as you always did.
So be it. Follow the needle of your own wisdom. We shall see how truly it leads you.
Back on mortal soil once more. I can't believe I saw it. After all this time. Relieved. Drained. Proud of myself for summoning the courage to go to her in the first place. And, if I'm being totally honest, a bit lightheaded. As if it wasn't enough to have seen her again. She didn't exactly summon me there for small talk. The Karsite weave. Within me this whole time. I knew the orb was no ordinary ball of magic before it to be Karsus's malignant creation. Gods! How did I not see that? But I should have known. What right had I to go about declaring myself an archmage when I was as foolish as a common apprentice in setting such an entity loose? At least now I'm armed with the truth. And Mistra's expectations. Sounds like the door to redemption is open at last. All I have to do is walk through it, carrying the crown of Karsus. Perhaps. I see few other options open to me. If I ever want to reclaim those parts of myself the orb snatched away. If I ever want to be me again. I don't know. It's been so long since I dared to imagine an end to the orb's hunger. But I start thinking about it, hadn't I? Imagine being able to picture one's life ending in something other than a cataclysmic explosion. What a treat. If I could promise you one thing in return for your faith in me, it's this. I will use everything in my power to ensure we defeat this evil. I will not let you down. Now, I believe we've a date with an Elder Brain to get to. Shall we?
Of the absolute heretics. Bless them with the strength to endure, and the courage to resist. So may it be.
Far from me to judge Gale for playing coy with Mistra, but I will not be cleaning up whatever mess she makes of him for it. As you wish.
Fine lodgings you have found, my friend. Who is already in negotiations with the guardian spirits of this place. In Baldur's Gate, they are likely to be rat-formed and eager to charge rent. But Boo shall secure safe slumber for all. Now, what do you need of Minsk? So dark an alliance sealed with Sentish contracts, cultish vows, and a dragon's shining horde. You think Minsk could forget? You are correct. I have no idea what any of that was about. But we shall simply... Gah! Boo! Why do you gnaw at my soft parts? I am trying to... Once again, in smaller words? I see. This truth you seek. Boo believes that Minsk is knowing more than Minsk knows. But it is a difficult thing. There are memories of this time that Minsk does not remember. And Boo suggests that, just as he helps with tricksome itches in awkward places, you must reach what Minsk cannot. The parasite. You can use it to tickle free whatever truth you seek. The worm has already whipped me around the city like a slack-backed pony. I have no wish to saddle myself a second time. But... if it cannot be Boo who pops inside my skull for a rummage, then I trust you. Or Jahira, but she is currently possessed of an empty head.
At first, there is nothing. His mind is empty as a still expanse of open country. But then... your face, the Stone Lord's face, mirrored in bloodied steel. In the heat of burning buildings, you hold your blade high above pale, frightened faces.
No, that is not right. I slew only monsters. The voice said that they were monsters.
A whisper. The Absolute's voice, twisting the petty guild thieves before you into snarling, savage beasts, feeding on the weak of your city.
The guild. The Stone Lord hunted them, peeled away their rotten ranks one by one, to lay bare their corrupt heart. 9-finger skin. That is what the Absolute bought Black Zentish Steel to do. To kill the Guildmaster. Until Minsk arrives, the battle has not even begun. Whatever strangeness you believe you saw, there is only one simple truth in Minsk's mind. The cult is evil. The guild is evil. And Minsk fights evil. If you cannot believe his words, then watch his doings. We will foil the Zentish plot, and then we will show 9 fingers the 5 fingers of Minsk. Yes? Minsk has forgotten nothing. Once we are done with the undoing of his deeds, then we will speak of this Stone Lord.
I do not trust Mystra to do right with the crown. But I think I trust Gale even less. He must give it to her when the time comes, or his lust for power might well consume him.
a little rest to brush the road from Boo's fur, and then back to our adventuring. Of course, my friend. Or are we not friends? Boo never looks to give me fleas. Sometimes you just pick these things up along the path. Now, does Boo see a question in your eye, or just a parasite poking through? Well, Boo, explain yourself. Clear enough? There is nothing jestful in the bond between a ranger and his companion. Before Boo, I was a typical berserker of Rashomon. Duty-bound and full of my own seriousness. The problem with one so gazing of their navel, however, they are easily ambushed. Brigands split my skull like a sodden wineskin. It was as I recovered that Boo first appeared. He told me that I had felt the great poking finger of justice, marking Minsk as its champion and Boo as my guide. As for the headache, well, justice cannot always afford to be gentle. Do not be ridiculous. If any of us is chosen by the gods, it is obviously Boo. Now, shall we away? My boots crave the crunch of unvirtuous nethers. Oh, the mind of Minsk is a simple place. Of what strangeness do you speak?
The memories resurface. A lifetime of battles blurring into one. A single constant is Minsk, launching into the fray no matter the foe, be they god, monster, or man. It seems just the barest glimpse of what the man before you has seen and done, but enough to know that he has no right to still be alive.
Ah, wait! That look in your eye. I know exactly what visions of Minsk you have seen to cause you such wonder. My pants. Thrice laced, in the Rashomon style, so that a berserker might split skulls without fear of splitting breeches too. They are fiendishly complex, but fear not for Minsk. With training, he has learned to master the many little knots. Well, as have you, no? Do not forget that when you gaze into Minsk, Minsk also gazes into you. We both fight evil, wherever it is found. The who and where are less important than the hamsters you meet along the way. On this matter of sharing memories, I see no reason for us to worry at one another's words. If there is more we wish to know, we can simply ask, no? Exactly so! If I must peer into the mind of my enemy, I use an axe. For friends, there is ale. No, my friend. If you fear you have a question that Minsk cannot answer, then you can simply ask Boo. There is more than a little to know, I think. I am huge. Oh, my friend. There is much more to know of Minsk's homeland than he could ever put into words. Boo might fare better, but his home is far stranger again. Well, in many ways, it is the very opposite of this city. The far side of Faerun, with empty plains, white forests, and peaks that pierce the very belly of the sky. But it is like the city too. Here, it is loud with the daily wailing of people. In Rashomon, it is also loud, if you know where to listen. The Telthors, guardian spirits of every root, rock, and tree. Here in the Sleeping Lands they are silent, but in the far north, they know how to speak still. Because it is slow and stupid and sleeping. Boo says Minsk should phrase this in a kinder fashion. Telthors are the living soul of the land. They flit about, offering petty blessings to those who show respect, or playing tricks on those who do not. This is so in Rashomon, but not beyond her borders. Here the spirits sleep, and perhaps we ought to be glad of this. In Rashomon, a Telthor is wind and snow and soil. In Baldur's Gate, it would be stink and stain and a far less pleasant type of soil. If my meaning is not clear, just check under your boot. The first time, my Dajema, a warrior's quest of proving. Minsk quickly proved that quests do not always go as the stories say. After wandering a ways and some savings of the Sword Coast, Minsk returned to Rashomon to find a welcome fit for hamsters and heroes. The Iron Lord himself came to bear witness to Boo. Minsk of Rashomon, said he, your Dajema is done. Minsk politely disagreed. Dinah here was dead, and so his Dajema could never be done. Then swear your service to me, Minsk of Rashomon, said he. Serve your land as your lord's chosen champion. Minsk politely disagreed. It was a little awkward, but he had already sworn his service to Boo. Minsk of Rashomon, said he. You insult your Iron Lord. We will settle this matter in the circle of combat. It was only polite for Minsk to agree. After they carried the Iron Lord away, the Council of Witches gave Minsk a pack of provisions and said it would be best if he continued his adventures for a time. Yes, Boo, that was before we were stone. Perhaps we are due a little homecoming when all of this is done, no? As you wish. Boo, do you have much to say on the matter of something else? As you wish, but quietly. It is listening. On this matter, I have held small council with Boo. If the worm is lodged within our skulls, should it not be possible to simply squeeze like so? Until something pops out. Pay that noise no mind. Boo has not feasted on evil's flesh in some time, and it has set his gut to bubbling. None at all. Though Boo is tiny. Perhaps he could just crawl into our ears and... You are right, Boo. A ridiculous notion. It would be far too dark to see.
I've had my eye on you, hot as brimstone, jagged as lightning, and seething like the river Styx. But there's something missing, isn't there? You're hungry for pleasures beyond this plane. Something more satisfying than mortal flesh, blood, and bone. Oh, but do hear me out. You want what I have to offer. The ecstasy of agony. The pain of the damned, distilled into pure bliss. Beyond every climax you've known. The little death writ large. Smile, and I'll come to you when you put your head down to rest. I will sate your most forbidden lusts. Or don't, and know the eternal ache of the unknown and the unanswered. The same thrills I offer you. Some experiences are better when shared. Then we'll keep it our little secret. Hand to beating heart. Dear me, I've overestimated you. Trust me, I shan't be making that mistake again. Ta-ta.
This crown seems too powerful and dangerous an object for mere mortals to possess. Too dangerous even for Mystra. But I would sooner trust it with a god than with Gale.
Mystra has forsaken Gale entirely. A crushing blow. But he is strong enough to persevere, I think.
So, Gale's hedging his bets with Mystra? I can't say I blame him. Who'd want to hold a power like the Crown of Karsus in their hands just to hand it to someone else? I know what my decision would be, but we're all different, of course.
What's on your mind?
Wow. So that was Mystra. Pretty spectacular stuff. But I think Gale was right not to agree to do her bidding, no questions asked. I respect the gods, but they don't always understand what they're asking of us. Maybe immortality makes it hard to know what it's like to be one of us piggies. Proud of Gale, though. It takes some man to hold his own in front of the divine. Really? Really, really? Oh, fine. I'll be here eating dirt or whatever.
You come to speak of the last time Minsk stood watch? The snoring, it was Boo. Minsk shall be your shadow.
Boo seems like a worthy addition to our group. His pet, Minsk, may prove useful also. If you're sure. Fine. I'll be here whenever you rediscover your taste in company.
Minsk just joined our team. This is the best day of my life.
Let's go, go, go.
What has you sneaking around? Oh.
Minsk does not sneak, Queen Cutpurse. He follows a direct line from boot to butt.
Turning the Zentarim on me with my own coin. A dramatic entrance to land the killing blow yourself. I'll give you this, Stone Lord. You've got style.
Minsk has no such style. We are here to cleanse the Zentish taint, not to rub it all the deeper.
You expect me to believe that you're here to help me?
Helping first and harming after. Justice dines on a set menu, Nine Fingers. And Boo will be having seconds.
Don't let the hamster nibble on anything valuable. We might just get along, Stone Lord. Come then. There are visitors in my guild hall. I'd be a poor host to keep them waiting. You sully the ground you stand on. That's enough talking, all. Back to work. Zenta down. Just you and me now, Stone Lord. So if you mean to take my chair, you'll get no better chance than this.
Minsk has no interest in your furniture, Nine Fingers. Only in the wicked rump that fills it.
What?
You have been a stone in this city's boot for too long. And it will be no Stone Lord who reaches twixt Baldur and sticky toes to dislodge you. It will be Minsk!
I haven't got the slightest idea what he's trying to say. Proof that he is back to normal, no? A bizarre tale. But it fits this idiot somehow. But if he's back to himself... Good. I'd rather you die as Minsk, the mad Rashimar. It's silly, but... Do you know? You were something of a hero of mine when I was young.
Even now, your tongue twists the truth. When you were young and ten-fingered still, Minsk and Boo were stone, instatuated on a city square.
Aye. I remember the spot. By a garden on the Wide. A soft thicket near the market, with ample pockets to pick. Celestia itself to a street rat looking for shelter. You might not have been wrestling monsters, but you kept the wind and the rain off. Heroic enough for me.
Bah! You tried to dampen Boo's eyes. Do not think you will be spared his teeth. Evil is evil, even if it was once innocent.
Oh, I'm no innocent. But evil? Well, you tell me. With the Fist, the Watch, and the Council itself all licking the Absolute's boots, who's the only one left standing to protect Baldur's Gate?
She's right, Minsk. She's been an ally down through the years. A friend, even.
A friend? Jahira, Boo cannot believe his ears. Has the city fallen so far in our absence? Are there no heroes left?
Heroes come and go. But the Guild has always been here, protecting the city. Until the Stone Lord came to break us.
I am shamed. Nadeshka. Unworthy to fight alongside my friends. Boo, what am I to do?
I can't speak for your rodent, but I know something of debts. If you reckon you've got one to repay, well, we could always work together.
With you? Pfft. Minsk has no lust for gold. That he would shake grandmothers by their ankles, or set Boo nibbling at their purse strings.
I'm not talking about that. We've both got bigger enemies than one another. The city's enemies. And, Tyr's honest truth, you gave my guild the wake-up call it needed. We've grown complacent, lazy, too sure of our standing. We never would have needed the Zent if we'd had a fighting force of our own. Swords for the city when the Watch and the Fist fail us.
Like a berserker lodge of my homeland. No army or militia serving the local lords, but heroes working for the common good.
Heroes. Sure.
Very well. Minsk and Boo accept.
I'm sorry, you what?
Boo and I will be your berserker lodge, taking the ugly ways of your guild and beating them into a more virtuous shape.
That's not even slightly what I was saying. I wasn't asking.
You are right. I have proven myself unworthy. I cannot serve this city if I was so easily turned against it. If I do not know my own mind, perhaps I no longer know what is good. You have planted a burr in my brain, Guildmaster. Once I have dislodged the worm and redeemed myself in my hamster's eyes, we will return to this matter.
My door is always open, Stone Lord.
My friend, now we have settled the matter of the guild. I fear there is something I must tell you. You and Boo both. It may shock you both to know, but Minsk and this Stone Lord, they are one man. The same one man. And that same one man is Minsk. Never has Boo been more proud of my failures. I wish to believe the Stone Lord's evil was the worm alone, tainting my thoughts with foul dung. But I see now, the dung was within Minsk all along. So I wonder, if Minsk can be a villain, and Nine Fingers a hero, must it be so with all creatures? Is there good and evil within us all? Boo calls this nonsense. Less thinking of bad thoughts, says he, and more breaking of bad bones. But still, I would hear what you have to say on the matter, my friend. It is strange. A worm sits within my skull, twisting my thoughts. But it is you that have made Minsk see the world anew. You, my friend, are the true parasite. There is good and evil in all. Let us go crack villainous skulls, so that the virtue might leak free. Yes, Boo. I am becoming something of a philosophizer.
Yes?
Minsk is so amazing!
You have a cult to kill. What do you need from me to do it? You can't just swallow every bit of storybook tripe that you hear. Do I strike you as a little lost girl looking for a hero? Now lose the stupid look on your face and tell me what you need. Kill the Absolute, and keep the big bull berserker out of trouble. We'll find out if either of those things is possible. Knowing what I know usually comes at a cost. But let's say we'll put it on your tab. We've crossed paths over the years. Two hands trying to steer the city. Just not always in the same direction. Ugh, can't stand Harpers as a rule, but Jir is the exception. She's only really half a Harper at most.
You mean that as a compliment? I am sure.
The same way I'm not just the lowly thief, vagabond, and murderer the Watch and peers would paint me as. I happen to be a fine singer, too. Ha! Which part? The Stone Lords hollowed this place out. Half my crews have fled or in hiding. Orin's faceless try to pierce my ranks every day, while Gortash's toy soldiers control the streets. When the Absolute's army arrives to wage war on the city, our best hope is to make sure they have no leaders in here willing to open the gates for them. Simple enough. After Jaheira warned me and then disappeared, I went nosing into the cult for myself. I could bore you with the details. How I found evidence of Gortash's projects, traced him to Orin the Red, and made a safe bet there was some dried-out old necromancer to round out the three. Because it's always the dead, bloody three. Has been half-gods who can't help but make their irrelevance everyone else's problem. Oh. You've got some juicy little tidbit I haven't heard yet. Right. Well, war to be fought. Do you need anything else? Oh. Did you enjoy the encounter? Bottom-feeding bruises, I think you mean. But it takes thugs to keep order outside the walls. The Fist only go there for good, lawless fun. The rats usually keep a lid on their nastier notions, but with the Stone Lord business distracting me, some are starting to test the leash. All the more reason to be rid of the cult quickly, so I can remind my crews it's not a leash round their necks if they cross me. It's a noose.
Lord Shivers. Suits you.
Lord? Leper.
Don't mind the ladies' court. We're just playing a new game. What we'd call you if you joined our ranks. Where you're going, we might just let you.
We serve her still, and so do you.
Lord Rabies.
It's well for everyone that Nine Fingers prevailed. Parliament has spent years cultivating our necessary friendship.
Never thought anyone would have the stones to take on Nine Fingers like that. They damn well won't try again.
Careful around.
Nine Fingers has lanced the Zentish boil on her ass? Good. She can get back to protecting those who pay her for it.
You have a cult to kill. What do you need from me to do it? You have. But don't be so quick to bat away a helping hand. The Flaming Fist can be bought. The Harpers are scattered, and the Parliament of Peers, well, they're just generally too inbred to be useful. The Absolute's at our gate, and the Guild are the only ones truly standing against it.
His mind is empty as a still expanse of open country.